Welcome to the Living Alone podcast, where we help you reclaim your confidence and energy through taking control of your wellness. I'm Paige Hope.
And I'm Tracey Paige. Join us for quick chats on wellness, personal growth, hormone regulation, and more. Well, welcome to another episode of Living Alone. And Paige, I love that I get to be in the podcast studio with you.
Oh my goodness. It just gives me so much energy. I can't even tell you, Tracey.
Like, it's so much better. Like, for our audience, like right now, I just want everybody to know we're also going live on TikTok. And for those who perhaps are new followers or those who follow along, sometimes, right, we are in different states and so forth, and we have to do it. But other times we're here live together, and there's nothing like the energy of being live.
Oh, I just love it so much.
Well, I want to jump into this particular episode because this is about 4 practices to love your life. I think all of us right now are just wanting to know, how do I love the journey, right? When I think about like you and I mean, here we are, we're like 20 years apart, obviously. And so what I loved about this particular topic is I don't care how old you are, what phase of life that you've been in, you can love your life just where you are.
I heard this quote today, Tracey, and I didn't know what episode we were doing, but this ties so well into it. And it was Stephen Bartlett. And he essentially said he's been practicing loving the journey because he's really successful. But he's also like, I almost feel like the journey is better than the view that we all picture at the end. And so to really enjoy the journey, because once you quote unquote arrive, well, what now? Right?
Yeah.
And I tell Tracey this all the time. I tell our audience all the time, I am doing things that my 85-year-old self would be proud of, right? The dreamer, wish they would have gone to go do, build their dream, do the things, all of that. And it is about enjoying the journey. So Tracey, I just got to say, this is an amazing episode. Thank you for creating this.
I love this.
It's perfect timing for everything.
Yeah. Well, we're going to try to hit on what I was thinking about. We're kind of 4 buckets, I felt like, and we'll see. I always say we just flow and we're together. This never rehearsed. Like I said, we never know what we're really going to do. We think about it ahead of time, or at least I do. Then she shows up and she learns what the topics are. But when I think about things that I want to start with, like loving your life, the first one's going to be about self-care, because we hear a lot about self-care, okay, and it not being selfish. Now, I'm going to kick us off because I am 53, because I am a mother of 2. Now, listen, my son just turned 29 last week, and my daughter will be 34. I think it's on Monday, matter of fact. And so one of the things that I'm going to share when it came to self-care and not being selfish, right? Because we can think about self-care as like, bubble baths and lighting candles and like things like that. And I'm like, okay, that's great self-care. But I want to talk about the selfish part, because I feel like lots of times, because of my age, I'll speak to a lot of women that are building careers, they have children, and they feel guilty about doing it. And I have always said, listen, there's nothing selfish about chasing your dream. There's nothing selfish that you have a gift inside of you or whatever that is, in a career or whatever, and having children. I will tell you, my children say it all the time. They said, Mom, we loved, and they'll use these words, that you weren't the Betty Crocker mom. Whenever we came home, there weren't cookies coming out of the oven, but we got to be alongside of you for the journey of building. Right? I mean, I put practices in place. Like people used to say, I'm going to say this, like working out and taking care of myself, because I knew if I wanted to be a good mom for them, and I had to show up for myself as well, number one, and for a career and do what I did, I would have to then like work out and do things. And people could have looked at that, like, because they'd say to me, well, I don't have time. I got to do this. I feel guilty if I go to class or go work out. And I said, actually, it makes me a better mom, but it made me better for me and for them. So if anybody's listening and you feel like, I promise you, when people see you happier, it's not selfish. So putting those things in place. And Paige, and I know you're really good at self-care and you do different things, but for me, I just wanted to start off with that one. I think that's about loving your life.
I think that's beautiful because our audience, they're all ages, which is what's so cool. We've been able to bring in this community of all ages. And so you get different perspectives and hear different things. But I think that's really beautiful because your kids not only got to see you build, but it also instilled habits in their life as well.
Oh, I did.
And so I think that's, a good thing to note here too. Oh, I've always been about self-care, Tracey. No.
I know.
I've never had a problem with it. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not one of the people that are like, I feel guilty taking this time because I know myself that when I'm operating at a really, really high level and when I'm not taking care of myself, I know what the kind of person that I am. And so I know that, oh my goodness, if I take a little bit of time every day, you guys hear we talk about my digestion walks. That is actually self-care to me.
Yes.
My weekly self-tan routine. I am doing a full body shower. That is it.
Amen. Can I just say that? I don't care.
We're self-tanning every week. And it's a commitment.
It is
You're
a commitment.
Exfoliating. You're tanning.
Yeah.
And I build my tan, so it's a 2-day process.
Well, I build my tan.
It's, it's a lot going on. And also, I just take many moments. And Tracey, she used to have a crazy, crazy, crazy career. And she slowly started to incorporate a morning routine, which I love because I've always done a morning routine. And I see that Tracey now, her stress levels are down. It's absolutely just beautiful to watch. And so waking up, Tracey and I both do our warm lemon water. I have my herbal tea right next to it. I take spearmint tea for my hormones, organic. And then I'll make the breakfast slowly. Tracey does what she calls devotional, and she reads this thing before she gets into work. We're both gratitude journaling. Now, we're not here to say you need to have like a 2-hour morning routine.
Oh, no.
Because let's be real.
Well, I don't have time.
There are we don't have time for that.
No.
So really, this can be 10 minutes.
Oh, literally.
Maybe 5 some days.
Some days 5.
Yeah. But it's still taking that moment and that breath to be like, okay, I'm ready to get started with this day. I'm grateful. And when one thing for me is if I start my day in a gratitude and self-care state, it just sets the tone. Yes. And even when chaos and shiz hits the fan, like it's been hitting because we are a startup.
Yes. Yes.
I still am able to zen it out, and same with Tracey. So
remember, I always say these are the practices to love your life no matter where you are.
Oh yeah.
We didn't say to create the perfect life. We said love your life where you are. And so that's why we
romanticize these little things. Romanticize your mornings.
Absolutely, to set the tone. So no matter what goes on in the chaos, because life is just messy and chaotic, it's part of it. Now, I'm going to move on to number 2 because I thought self-care, but I wanted you to hear perspective of what that really looks like when it comes to self-care, not being selfish. But number 2, I wrote this down because people ask me these questions all the time. And maybe because I am older right now, is I'm going to call it inside out healing with food. Now, we just did a great episode, the one before this. If you didn't get to listen to it, it was about being on the road and fueling your body, knowing that you were worthy to be able to give your body fuel. Because I'm just going to say this when I say that, because it really truly is what I know that I have loved my life, because I looked at food as fuel. And even my son, when he was younger, instead of calling me at the office, right? We used to have desk phones back then, not even cell phones. Okay. So I'm definitely dating myself. And he would call and he'd say, okay, instead of saying, what are we having for dinner tonight? What are we fueling our bodies with tonight? But sometimes, and that doesn't mean like perfect food all the time, but I really took the time to go to your point. If I'm going to love my life and try to have as much energy as I had, to max it out to the end as much as I can, to have less brain fog, to not have joy, I was going to give it the fuel that I wanted. And so I wanted to share that with everybody, that listen, when you give your body, like I feel like that's part of it.
Yes.
You are maxing out your life and happiness.
And I have a little other hack that might be a little bit easier. This one, you just go grab a wine glass and you put some kombucha in it. How do you say that? Kombucha?
Kombucha.
Kombucha. You put some kombucha in it, or put, like a healthy little something in there. I know everyone's got their little magnesium mocktails.
Oh, I know.
I'm all about romanticizing my life right now.
See?
And so small things like that, like at your dinner, grab that glass, grab your cute little drink.
Yes.
That's how you love it, everybody. What's number 3?
Okay. There's so much I want to say about that because that is about loving your life. That's what I wanted this to be about. Like people to go, I don't care where you're at, to put these small things in that make you just take a breath and love your life. Now, number 3, I'm going to still call it joyful movement because I don't care if I am sick. All right, I'm going to say this, everybody. Even my love would tell you this. Let's say I get up in the morning and I haven't moved all day and it's 10 hours later. I'm like a grumpy pant.
Well, yeah, we did an episode on lymphatic drainage.
Yeah.
Your lymphatic system needs movement.
I have no endorphins going, nothing going. I haven't breathed, my poor body. And now it's almost as if I'm grumpy. So I will say one of the things you heard me say earlier, remember when I said like selfishness, like I made my workouts a priority. That doesn't mean me. No, I want to be clear. That did not mean that I was at the gym for an hour or two. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying was simple movement, making sure that I took that walk. I don't care if it's in the house and I've got bands, right? And I'm just doing some air squats. It literally, when I get that energy going, I can't believe the brain fog, my heart goes, and I feel like my heart's happier.
No, it actually is. And something really easy you can do is while you're brushing your teeth, just do some calf raises, like random things to just get your body moving and grooving. I have to share one funny story. I remember growing up, every single morning I'd hear like really deep breaths in my parents' room. And it's because my dad, the second he woke up, he wanted to move his body to wake up. It helped blood flow, right?
Yes.
He's doing his push-ups and his sit-ups, and that was his routine every morning. And I grew up with that, and I just, to this day, I just crack up because I'm like, it's probably part of the reason why I like to get movement, because I saw my dad immediately, he's like, I got to get, my blood flowing.
Yes.
I got to get going.
Loving his life, where he was at, no matter what the day was going to bring.
Also, it's getting springtime. Do a little nightly walk. Like get your vitamin D. Just start to think about walks, how you can get outside, go around trees, go around, do a little meditation outside, things like that. There are a lot of things you can do to have joyful movement.
Yes. Release that. So these are things that have definitely brought happiness no matter what was going on in my life. And I'm going to say the 4th one.
Oh, wait. Family walks. Sorry.
Oh, no, please.
I used to do family walks, and that is part of joyful, because it's also a time, say you're really busy, and Tracey and I do this, right? Where when we're together, we work all day, we're going on a night walk, and we're just catching up. Yes. It is the best time to connect with someone. You don't always have to connect over, like people might go out for drinks or for dessert, whatever, which totally like go do whatever you want. Hey, but ask your friend to go on a hike, go on a walk. Like there are so many fun activities that you can do to actually connect with people. And that is one thing I'm really passionate about right now.
I love that. And that's something every night we take our sweet little Molly. She's a beautiful blonde like me, I like to say, right?
She's the cutest dog and she loves me.
She does love Paige. How could she not? But she really does. And we do that nightly walk, but that is the time. Think about it. You're not on your cell phone. Mm-mm. You're not in front of the TV. Mm-hmm. And it's not a power walk. We're just strolling, but connecting. And I'm telling you, that will bring joy.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Let's reconnect with our friends, your partners, whatever it is. Invite them on walks. It's such a beautiful, beautiful hack to life.
I truly believe that.
I do too.
Now, this last one, and I was just interviewed on a podcast about this. And they were like, Tracey, how did you ever come up with this mindset at a time when nobody was really talking about it? Right? I'll be honest, I don't really care what other people think.
Ooh,
okay.
This one was the best one.
I don't know why, and not in a bad way, like of my goals or of what people thought. We just talked about, like, people used to make fun of me because I always had to wear heels and I was in the airport, or made fun of me because I packed my shoes, or I don't care, or I was a single mom that I, did work a lot of hours a week, so I didn't bake the chocolate chip cookies. But guess what? I don't care. Here was my saying. It's none of my business what other people think of me.
Oh, yeah. I think this also comes with age as well.
Yeah.
And that was the same with the business. Everyone thought I was crazy for quitting my corporate job to go spend a lot of my money on this business. And at the end of the day, I was like, I don't care. I'm doing this for the 85-year-old version of me. And it doesn't matter. And here's another thing that I really want to point out with this, because there's some hypocrisy in this statement. And this also means that you cannot judge others. You got to be very careful with your own thoughts. If you don't care what other people think about you, you got to make sure that you're not attracting that, and you got to make sure that you are not judging others. You know, like Tracey mentioned, she wasn't the Betty Crocker mom, but someone might be a Betty Crocker mom and be loving it, and we love that, and we're cheering that Betty Crocker mom on.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Like, that is real.
Yes.
And so I wanted to point
because you're
that
living
out.
your best life, and you don't care what other people think.
If you're cheering people on, you will be cheered on. And if you're one of those not cheering people on.
Correct. See, that's what I've always said is, listen, each one of us, I believe, we're born with gifts and different things. But all of a sudden we let other people's judgments and what they're thinking then stop us from doing things. But I always said, you know, in my house, when I had to put my head on my pillow at night with my bills or whatever was going on, was I truly showing up as me?
Yep.
That when I said that this episode was about loving your life, it's not always easy to, like, especially with social media, like read things and do that. But I always say, I don't care what other people think. It's none of my business. No. They might have said a comment. They've got their own life going on plenty. They've forgot about it. Guess what? I get to put my head on my pillow like you, Paige.
Yes. Yes.
When people said things to you.
So here's a tip to not caring what people think, because I would say that the moment you hit a certain age, you start to realize no one really has time and energy to think about you. That's the other thing too. And if you do have time to think about other people and judge other people, then you need a hobby and you need to learn a skill, because there's no need to put effort and energy into that. Right. And at the Living Alone community, we are not about that. We want people to support each other. We really, really do believe in the law of attraction as well. And we practice that. Yeah. And we want to make sure that we are uplifting others. And so a trick to that is, in order for you to not care what other people think, the first place to start is not thinking and making judgments about others. And so when you are starting this journey of not caring what other people think, the second that you have a judgment come in about someone else, just quickly eliminate it. Learn to let those thoughts, it's kind of like meditation when the person that's leading the meditation says, let the thoughts flow, like just float past. Just let them float past. If they come in, don't judge yourself for it, but just let it go on.
Yes.
And start to train your mind to not be a judger.
It's true.
We don't like you little judgies.
Like, it can't be. No.
We don't need judgers up in here. You know how much better our lives would be if everyone just stopped friggin' judging people?
Like, it is that simple. And when I did start the practice, to your say, I would even say to myself, I would say, okay, please, my spirit inside. If I started, because at human nature, we can see something and it like happens and I go, oh, please catch me. Because I don't sit in their shoes. I am not them. Who am I to?
Well,
right?
and the psychology of it as well is when you're judging someone else, usually it comes back to you. Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
And that's how the universe works. And two, it usually is triggering something inside of you that you're supposed to heal, because all relationships are mirrors. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about that. And so if you do have something in a judgment pop up, that's a reflection of something inside that you need to heal. And so that can be a good practice for you.
Yep. I love it. And so it really is. It's one of my favorite topics. And I was, like I said, on a podcast and somebody asked me about it. So I really wanted to end with that. So when you think about just loving your life, like truly self-care, fuel your body, get your moving in, connect with people. And guess what? Here's what I want you to do. I just want you to live with purpose, whatever that is. I know it sounds easier said than done, but start putting the practice in place. And no matter what you're going through, you will love your life. So, and until next time, here's to your confident, energetic self.